Hi, I'm Tanya Agee. I'm a financial coach and the CEO of TLC Financial Coaching. I help women who are navigating major life changes, whether that's a divorce, a career shift, or simply starting over financially. I help them find clarity, confidence, and a real path forward with their money and their daily systems. I also know that true finance success isn't just about budgeting or saving or even about the numbers. It's about recognizing how different pieces of our lives fit together and having that support system in place. And that's one reason why I have a network of trusted professionals who can provide expert guidance during key moments in your journey. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to someone in my network that I deeply trust and respect. He is known as the Blindspot Coach, and he works with driven, growth minded individuals who seem to have it all together. But behind the scenes, not always. They're overwhelmed, they're stuck in patterns, and they're struggling with self doubt. I know this firsthand because I've worked with him myself. He helped me confront and move through some of my own blind spots, like self doubt and imposter syndrome, so that I could grow into the confident, clear, and purpose driven woman that you see today. And that's just one of the many reasons why I'm proud to have him in my trusted circle and why I'm so excited to share this conversation with you. His name, David Creel, and his coaching brings clarity, confidence, and lasting change. Welcome, David.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored.
Amen. Amen. I agree with that one. So tell us, what exactly are blind spots when it comes to personal or professional growth?
Great question. Another way of thinking about blind spots is how we show up in our life automatic and predictable.
Love it.
And by definition, a blind spot is something you can't see, or it wouldn't be in your blind spot.
Makes
But
sense.
just because you can't see it doesn't mean other people can't see it.
I agree with
So,
that.
yeah. So what I do is I help you become aware of where you show up automatic and predictable because, as Jim Quick said, how you do anything is how you do everything. And once I see how you're showing up automatic and predictable, I can help you see it for yourself because once you see it, you can't unsee it.
hmm Yeah, I agree with that. Now, why, on the subject of you being able to see it or other people being able to see it, but we can't see it, why do you think it's so easy for us to miss it, even when we're trying to improve ourselves?
Because it's hard to read a label from inside the jar.
Ooh, I like that. I love that analogy. That's awesome. That
Yeah,
makes me
because
feel.
you're so close to it, and it might be something that you've done for so long, it becomes a habit. Whenever you're going through your life, we do a lot of things automatic and predictably. I do too. I guarantee you, or I virtually guarantee you, that you brush your teeth the same way every day,
Mhm.
and you shower the same way every day, and you dry off the same way every day, and you get dressed the same way every day. But if it's serving you, awesome. But if it's not, the quicker you can realize where you're showing up automatic and predictable, the quicker you cannot show up automatic and predictable.
Got it. Got it. So you kind of hinted on this a little bit, but how can past pain or unhealed experiences shape these blind spots that we carry into adulthood, such as the way we handle relationships, money, and work?
Oh, that's a big question. Okay.
Yeah.
I spoke with someone several months ago, and she said she was afraid. And I asked her, "What are you afraid of?" And it came out. She told me literally 2 days ago, she goes, "I'm 68 years old and I had my mom's voice in me from when I was a kid saying you can't do that."
Mm.
So what she was fearing, every time she would try to do something, she had her mom's voice in her head, and it wasn't even true. So regardless of whatever past traumas or whatever, it's, do you want that to happen? No, of course you don't. But sometimes it happens. And sometimes you might have to go through trauma or an experience or something like that. So when you get to the other side of it, Now you have an experience and you might be able to help someone else with their struggles because you've already been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever those doubts or those beliefs, or you might challenge it, where did I come up with this? And the best question to ask whenever a thought comes in is that true? Because if it's not true, why you believe the lie in the first place?
Amen. Yeah. A lot of our battles in our head, isn't it?
Yes, but only always.
So you touched on this just a little bit. When you identify a blind spot or where we're stuck, that you start questioning it and you start asking if it's true and that kind of thing. But when a blind spot is revealed, how do you help someone move forward in situations that are very uncomfortable or overwhelming?
A lot of times people think they need confidence to take the smallest possible step. They say, oh, I don't have confidence. I don't have confidence. Well, if you're driving in your car and you're going to drive through New York City, the only way you have confidence that you can drive through New York City is when New York City is in the rearview mirror, because you just did it. So you had the confidence. More often than not, people stay in their lane and you can get through it. But that's the only way you can have absolute confidence, is because you just did whatever you were trying to do. But what
Exactly.
really people need is courage
Courage.
to take the small step. And you can always take a small step. For example, several months ago, I was talking to somebody and I said, what's your plan to make this happen? Whatever he said. And he said, oh, tonight I'm going to read 4 chapters in the book. I said, that's the smallest possible step? He goes, yeah, how much more smaller than it could it be? I said, I don't know. How about walk over to wherever the book is and open it and flip to whatever page you're going to read and read one letter of the first word. He goes, oh. I said, yes. Because oftentimes when you take a small step, you can't see what else is around until you get to that new perspective. And then, oh, okay. And then you take that step, and then you take the next step, and then you take the next step, and all of a sudden you've got accomplished. So confidence, courage, but sometimes when people get maybe overwhelmed, they're trying to take on too big of a bite.
Yeah.
Chunk it down, then act, and then chunk it down, and then act, and then chunk it down, and then act, and then, before you know it, you've done whatever it is you're trying to do. Like one of my mentors said, small hinges open really big doors.
Yeah. 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 I love it's the same principle. I mean, it's adding a story to the principle of doing it scared and facing it. You can't jump over, go around, go under. You have to go through. So it's all applicable in that. And I teach my clients the same thing. It's like, okay, this is really big what you're looking at. However, what's one small step we can take today? So I agree with you 100%. So
And it reminds me of the story of the bison. Whenever a cow sees a storm, they run away from the storm. Well, a bison runs into the storm.
didn't know that.
But when a bison's running into the storm doesn't last very long, because they're running this way and the storm's coming this way. So they're on the other side of the storm, and the cow is running from it and is going to be tired and is going to get wet.
I love it.
So, yeah, like you just said, do it scared. Yeah, the bison's like, okay, like, I can tell it's pouring. They may or may not know that. But whenever they see a storm, they run into the storm, and they're like, okay, well, let's just get this thing over with.
I'm going to have to use that. I've never heard that analogy before. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So let me ask you this, because I get this question actually asked of my services, but how does working with you differ from just reading books, journaling, or doing self-reflection work on their own?
Well, like we've already discussed, there's things that you can't see. And once someone else sees it, they might be able to point it out to you, where if you're open to it, you might see it for yourself. Another thing is encouragement. Another thing is, this isn't a place of judgment. This is a place to get better. Another reason is you need someone that you know has your back.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go well or whatever. Okay, well, what do you want to do about it? What do you want to create, given that this situation isn't what you signed up for, but here we are? And another reason is hope that things can get better. Because if you shift your focus, you might see something that you didn't see earlier. And I believe it was Alfred Adler. He said, hope is the foundational quality of all change. For example, if somebody told me you need to jump over this 3-story building with no apparatus and just literally jump, why would I even try? Another thing is perspective. Because like I said earlier, you can't read a label if you're in the jar. It might be right there. You see it one way. Another perspective may say, have you considered this? And then all of a sudden the lights come on. And it's like, okay, like I know what to do. So it's, and another thing, this is big. This just came to me too. You'll feel listened to and heard, because most people don't listen to listen, they listen to respond. And I'm very much okay with silence.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. We had some silence during our time.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
thinking time. That's time where the wheels are turning, and it can be uncomfortable to start with, but then you get used to it. So I've actually incorporated that in my practice too. But so David, is there anything else that you would like to share? Maybe a word of encouragement or something for someone who's watching who might be feeling stuck, but unsure if reaching out for coaching is the right next step?
Okay. If you're feeling stuck, join the crowd. We've all been there at some point. Okay. Let me tell you a story about this guy I know. He started lifting weights again. And his trainer he has is this huge, like, ex-NFL linebacker. He's massive. And the first day or the first couple days, he's lifting the bar only. And he kind of feels embarrassed, but he's like, well, I got to get back in the habit. Okay. Well, then he put like little 2-pound dumbbells on the end of the bar. He's like, now I feel really embarrassed. Like, people know this is actually my workout. This isn't like warming up. And he told the trainer guy, he said, I feel so embarrassed because you're so huge and I'm only starting with the bar. And the trainer told him, everyone starts with the bar. So whatever you're facing has come to pass, not come to stay. One of my favorite phrases, I guess, is this too shall pass.
Yes. Yes.
And whether it's me or Tanya or whoever, everyone needs a coach, because they've already been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and they can help you get whatever you're trying to get, guitar coach or vocal coach or piano coach or financial coach, or like myself or other. It's like a turbo button. Like, you're playing Mario Kart on the Nintendo and you're like, you hit the turbo button. Well, you go a little faster. Well, that's what a coach does for you. It's like an accelerator pedal. Let me ask you, did you ever feel in our time that I was selling you on what we were talking about?
No. It
No.
felt like two friends just sitting and having a conversation and talking about life and what was going on. That's, it didn't even feel clinical. There was nothing to it that was even clinical. I actually look forward to our sessions together and uncovering things that, I was definitely ready to uncover some things. So,
Yes.
but yeah, I never felt forced. I never felt like I was being sold to. It definitely benefited me. So.
Right. And that's why I do my best to serve and not sell. And if you serve the people that are sitting in front of you, like for me, I generally don't bring anything to the sessions. I generally don't have notes. I generally don't have anything. It's a bespoke program. because everyone I sit in front of is different. They're in different spots, or they're going after different things. So how can I have a cookie cutter approach for you, or Bill Smith, around the corner? You're different people.
Yeah.
So that's why I do my best to be present, and everything is bespoke, and nothing significant ever happens outside of a conversation.
It's true.
And almost certainly I meet 99.99% of people on Zoom. So, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? We don't connect, and you just don't schedule another meeting. Okay. Or, so it's, what's the worst that could have hurt? So, but again, this too shall pass. Try to take small, tiny steps, and then see how that feels. And then take another step. Let me give you another example. One of my current clients, she builds Lego houses for people, like custom Lego houses. And their Lego houses look like the house they're living in. It's like a Barbie dream house, but it's their own house, basically. A couple years ago, she shattered her leg, like rods, pins, the whole deal. And she wanted to start walking, and she can walk. She didn't lose her leg or anything, but it was a bad break. She says, I'd like to start walking. I said, do you have the ability to walk now? Or are you, something, cast? She goes, no, I can walk. She goes, I can walk 5 minutes with a cane. I said, fantastic. I said, tomorrow, will you commit to walking 2.5 minutes that way and then turn around and walk 2.5 minutes back? She said, yes. I said, bring your cane. She goes, well, I have to have it. I said, perfect. When you get done with 2.5 minutes, push the cane over your head one time and then walk back. And when you get to your front door, one time, you're done for the day. See you later. I said, now the next day, let's do 5 minutes and 2 seconds. And one time. The last time I talked to her, she's up to 40 minutes each way, and she only takes the cane to fend off dogs that might be coming up at her. She just walks with like a walking stick. She didn't even need it anymore.
Bravo.
But that's where those little bitty steps really do make a big difference.
Yeah. That's excellent. That's a wonderful story. It's, we underestimate small steps. We really do. Well, that's very inspirational, David. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for being here today. I appreciate you taking the time to do this conversation and introduce yourself to my followers. And I also want to thank you, the followers, so much for joining us today. And I hope this conversation sparked not just insight, but also a sense of possibility, especially if you're feeling stuck or weighed down by things that you can't quite name. The truth is, we all have blind spots, and that is why conversations like this matter. Working with someone who can help you uncover what's been holding you back can be a huge game changer. And David brought so much clarity and wisdom to the process today. If something we shared resonated with you, I would love to hear it, and I'm sure David would too, in the comments. Just go ahead and put it in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future conversations. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it their way. You'll find contact information and helpful links down in the video description. And whether you want to connect with a Blindspot coach, David, or learn more about how TLC Financial Coaching can support you, the information will be there. So until next time, I'm Coach Tanya Agee. We're cheering you on as you build a life that is clear, confident, and fully yours.